I closed my eyes to the darkness, not knowing what awaited me in the world of dreams. As I drifted into slumber, I felt an uncanny sensation, a prickling awareness that I was not alone. It was as if 1,000 eyes were watching me, scrutinizing my every move. And among those eyes, one pair stood out, piercing through the veil of my dreams like a beacon. Picture a man, not your ordinary man, but a figure shrouded in mystery and darkness. He was outside my window, his face partially hidden by the shadow of the night. The moonlight fell on him, casting an eerie glow that highlighted his gaunt features and hollow eyes. His gaze was fixated on me, unblinking, unwavering, as if he was peering into the depths of my soul. His attire was peculiar, a blend of the old and the new. A long, worn-out coat hung loosely around his lean frame, its frayed edges fluttering in the chill night wind. An old-fashioned hat sat atop his head, concealing his hair and adding to the enigma that he was. An inexplicable dread filled my heart as I looked at him. It was not his appearance that scared me, no. It was the intent behind his gaze, the unknown purpose that brought him to my window that sent chills down my spine. His eyes held a story, a tale of sorrow and despair. Yet there was something else. A glimmer of madness, perhaps? Or was it a hunger, a desire for something that was beyond my comprehension? I tried to move, to run, to scream, but I was trapped in the confines of my dream, a silent spectator to the unfolding nightmare. The man continued to watch me, his gaze never leaving mine, a predator eyeing his prey. I woke up, my heart pounding, the image of the man at my window fresh in my mind. I lay there frozen, the echoes of my dream reverberating in the silent room. The man, the window, his gaze, they were all imprinted in my mind, a haunting reminder of the terror that had consumed me in my sleep. As I lay there, the remnants of the dream still clinging to me, I noticed something strange. A sense of unease had begun to creep into my consciousness, like a spider weaving its web in the corner of my mind. Something was wrong. It was a disturbance in the air, a slight shift in the familiar, a change in the rhythm of my home that was subtle yet undeniable. In the soft morning light, my eyes fell upon it. A smudge on the polished wooden floor, a shadow where there should be none. It was a footprint, not mine, not anyone's who should have been in my house. It was right there, next to my bed, an uninvited signature of a stranger. A cold shiver ran down my spine, and my heart pounded like a terrifying drum solo in the silence of the room. As I examined it closer, the terror amplified. The imprint was too large to be that of a child, yet too small to belong to a full-grown man. It was an odd size, its shape and form disturbingly unfamiliar. It was as if the dream had leaked into my reality, the man from my nightmare manifesting himself into my waking life. The footprints were peppered with a strange pattern, like the sole of an odd shoe, or perhaps a creature not of this world. It was an uncanny detail that sent a fresh wave of fear coursing through my veins. My throat tightened as if gripped by an unseen hand, and a whimper escaped my lips. The discovery of the footprints was like stumbling upon a chilling crime scene in my own sanctuary. My safe haven was violated, my peace shattered. The dream was no longer just a dream, it was a premonition, a warning of a reality too terrifying to comprehend. I sat there staring at the footprints, the reality of the situation sinking in. The footprints were a silent testament to an intrusion, a haunting whisper of a presence that was not supposed to be there. The dream, the man, the footprints, they were all entwined in a horrifying dance, and I was the unwilling participant. With shaky hands, I reached for my phone, the need to call the police pressing. My fingers trembled as I dialed 911, my voice a shaky whisper against the icy silence of the room. I reported an intruder, my words tumbling out in panicked waves. I explained about the dream, the footprints, the overwhelming feeling of being watched. The police arrived promptly, their blue lights slicing through the darkness outside. As they stepped into the room, their boots crunching on the cold floor, their eyes widened at the sight of the footprints. The room was filled with the low hum of their voices, the sharp click of a camera shutter, the rustle of their notepads as they jotted down every little detail. They combed through every inch of the room, their gloved hands turning over every object, their flashlights piercing every shadow. It was as if they were trying to coax the room into revealing its secrets, to cough up the puzzle pieces that would help us understand what had happened. And yet, there was no sign of forced entry. The windows were intact, the doors locked. It was as if the intruder had materialized out of thin air, leaving behind nothing but footprints. The absence of any signs of forced entry only served to increase the mystery. It was like a riddle with no clear answer, a puzzle with missing pieces. The officers shared puzzled glances, their brows furrowed in deep thought. It was clear they were just as baffled as I was. As they packed up their equipment, they promised to keep an eye on my house. They assured me they would do everything in their power to find the person responsible. Their words were meant to comfort, but they felt hollow, like echoes bouncing off the cold, empty walls of my room. The police left, promising to keep an eye on my house, but I was left with more questions than answers. As I found myself alone in the room once again, the eerie silence seemed to mock me, whispering chilling reminders of the night's events. That night, sleep was a distant memory, chased away by fear and uncertainty. The soft embrace of dreams was replaced by a relentlessly intrusive reality, a reality where my sanctuary had been violated, where the boundaries of safety were blurred. Each tick of the clock seemed to echo in the silence, punctuating the stillness with a stark reminder of the passing time, the hours of darkness yet to come. The nights that followed were not much different. Sleep became a luxury, a distant and elusive concept. My mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, of what-ifs and could-haves. Every creak, every rustle of the wind, each distant car horn, they all became potential threats, potential predators lurking in the shadows. My home, once a haven, had transformed into a stage for the macabre dance of fear and paranoia. I found myself checking the windows and doors obsessively, ensuring they were locked, secured. But the locks felt inadequate, the doors too thin, the windows too transparent. They were mere illusions of safety, paper-thin barriers against the dark unknown. My heart pounded in my chest with each check, each inspection, a frantic rhythm that echoed the dread coursing through my veins. The emotional toll was immense, a heavy burden that weighed me down, anchoring me in this relentless cycle of fear. My days were clouded with fatigue, my nights tainted with terror. Laughter became rare, smiles even rarer. The joy of life was overshadowed by the fear of the night, the fear of the unseen. Yet in the midst of this chaos, an unexpected resilience began to take root, a determination to reclaim my peace, my sanctuary. Each sleepless night, each moment of fear only served to fuel this resolve. I was a victim, yes, but I was also a survivor, a fighter, refusing to let fear dictate my life. Fear had become my constant companion, the shadows my enemies, but I was learning to face them, learning to fight them. Because in the end, we are not defined by our fears, but by how we choose to face them. Days turned into weeks, and the fear began to fade, replaced by a strange acceptance. I found myself no longer a prisoner of the chilling memories of that night, but a survivor, carrying on with life. The presence of the unknown, the inexplicable footprints, they became a part of my existence, an odd chapter in my life story. I took measures, of course, to ensure my safety. I installed a state-of-the-art security system, one that would alert me to the slightest intrusion. I had every inch of the house checked for hidden passages or secret entrances, and found nothing. I considered moving, yes, but this was my home, and I'd be damned if I let some spectral figure from a dream chase me away. In the process, I found myself thinking about life, safety, and the illusion of control. We go about our days believing that we're safe, that we can predict what's around the corner. But life, it has a way of reminding us just how little control we actually have. It's unsettling, yes, but there's also a strange beauty in it. It's a reminder to live, to truly live, because we never know what tomorrow might bring. The experience also taught me about fear. Fear has a way of consuming us, of making us feel small and helpless. But it doesn't have to. We can choose to face our fears, to stand tall against them. And in doing so, we realize that they're not as powerful as we thought. We realize that we're stronger than our fears. I may never know who the man in my dream was, or how his footprints ended up next to my bed, but I've learned to live with the mystery. And more importantly, I've learned to live with the fear, because in the end, it's not about what scares us, but how we respond to it. It's about how we choose to live our lives, despite the unknowns, despite the fear. Y'all, we're wrapping up here, but don't you go anywhere just yet. Show some love, hit that like button. Fancy more content like this? Go on, subscribe and let that bell icon ring so you won't miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, sharing is caring. Until next time, stay tuned.